Hello and welcome to Not Just Ads. In this episode of the podcast, we have Mattia Fosci, CEO of Anonymized, but this time we'll have a different hat on. He is here as the founder of CPCA, the Coalition for Privacy Compliance in Advertising, and they are developing the world's first regulator-approved privacy certification for digital advertising technology. It is being developed with the UK ICO, the Information Commissioner's Officer, and also in collaboration with the UK AOP, the Association of Online Publishers, ISBA, the Incorporated Society of British Advertisers, the ABC, the Audit Bureau of Circulation. And before I give the microphone to Mattia, I want to just add how much I love the fact that all the core pillars of the industry are included in this certification. We have the advertisers, we have the publishers, we have the regulators, and working towards a better experience for the audiences. Hi, Mattia. Have I left anything out?
Well, thanks for the kind introduction. I think maybe it's worth saying this is open to all industry bodies who want to join. So the certification is owned by a not-for-profit company that are established, and we've spoken to others as well. We've spoken to the IAB. We're speaking to industry bodies representing agencies and advertisers. So it's not a closed group. It wants to be as open as possible. But it's open to industry bodies and consumer groups who want to join the process. But just to clarify, the process itself is not a negotiation. It's not like a code of conduct. It's essentially legal work that we're doing to create a certification that implements the requirements of the GDPR in a more technical and auditable way for the whole industry.
That's fantastic, because I always thought that one thing is the enforcement, one thing is catching the bad guys, but also we need to protect those that are doing the right thing. So it's having this seal of approval will be definitely benefit for the industry. And do you have anything? Can you share anything more about the certification scheme criteria?
It's really very, very early, and I think we need to respect the process with the ICO. I don't want to be cagey and not tell you, but I think that the truth is we're just beginning the process with them, and the criteria will take some time to be developed. And I think the important thing, what I can say is the important thing is that this applies GDPR. It doesn't apply other bits of privacy legislation, but it concerns all requirements. So it's not going to be specific to some requirements. Any potentially will apply to, companies from programmatic space, but also potentially social media space and others. So it can be seen as an overarching attempt to verify compliance across the industry.
That's a good point, because I'm reading from your website, you are saying we are also looking at other countries where regulator-backed privacy certification schemes exist, and we will lobby on behalf of the industry to promote cross-jurisdictional harmonization of privacy norms. Is this already widening the scope? So not only, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but is it becoming not only a certification but also going into the realm of activism?
Absolutely not. I think the word lobbying is probably unfortunate in that context. I think what we really want to do with this, and I'm very wary that it's going to be a difficult process, and it's probably not going to make us many friends. Not everyone likes regulation, but I think what we're trying to achieve with this is just clarity. And I speak for myself. No, I don't speak for the ICO. The ICO is as a power to approve UK GDPR certification schemes. under the GDPR itself. And and they welcome that because it provides a way for companies to demonstrate compliance. I personally think, as someone who operates in the industry, I see very different interpretation of the rules. So you might have browsers that take certain positions. Independent ad tech companies might take different positions. And I think this lack of clarity doesn't benefit anyone. There might be the perception in the short term that we can get away with stuff, or we can spin a narrative that's more favorable to our business, and it's okay. But I think if this is a really really large industry, and it needs a stable set of rules that everyone complies with. And so the important thing is, and this is very much a business prerogative. If we have a global set of rules, that actually has to be global geographically, not just in terms of comprehensive within a sector. So at the moment, the UK GDPR and the EU GDPR, again, this is my view, but we'll have to look at the details. But the two legislations are very aligned. They come from the same source. There have been some small changes, but they're sufficiently aligned that we can possibly have a UK GDPR as the first example of the certification, and then expand that to the European Union, and possibly a company will apply for one certification and get both seals. So something gets approved in the UK and the EU. Why did we start in the UK? Frankly, we are a UK company, but also the ICO is one of the most dynamic data protection authorities. Very understands business, has experience with the certification scheme, is giving us very good guidance. And I think if there's one jurisdiction in which we can get this done in a relatively short period of time, I think it is the UK. But at the same time, we need to prepare for the European process as well. So if we achieve a harmonized set of rules, that's going to benefit everybody.
And I like what you said, because it's benefiting those that need more clarity on compliance, but also holds to account those that are not that transparent. So it's benefiting both sides of the coin. But is
On that one, I mean, it's clear certification is voluntary. So it's not replacing enforcement. It's not replacing potentially browser measures. This is a way to demonstrate compliance. So if I don't want to create the expectations that if someone is not compliant and it doesn't seek certification, automatically there will be enforcement. It's not necessarily the case. There are many factors, but certainly being able to provide a signal to the market that you are complying, it's something that the government, the ICO will look positively upon, but also buyers will be very reassured to see that they are working with vendors to take this seriously.
and thank you for specifying and clarifying. I'm acting now like the man on the street, or someone browsing an industry event and wondering how it would work. And so another question is the CPCA like almost a buffer between the ICO and the company being certified?
I wouldn't say a buffer. I think the CPCA is a legal entity that needed to be created in order to own the scheme. So the scheme is very much is not like a one-off effort, right? It will need to be reviewed in light of new legislation, new case law. There needs to be an effort to raise awareness. So we've just created this certification, but the monitoring will not be done by the CPCA. It will be done by initially ABC UK, potentially other monitoring bodies in the future, other countries as well. So I think the role of the not-for-profit is really to bring together the key actors. I mentioned the industry bodies, but also consumer groups, create a consensus as to what the industry can do, but also how it can marry the practice with the expectation of the regulators, and really be an interface as we receive guidance and feedback from the ICO. So we don't we draft the rules, but really the rules are already in the law. What we're trying to do is understand whether the interpretation of the rules at a more technical and practical level is correct or not. But we're not writing any new rule. We're just applying them in a specific context.
And how will you be funded?
I think in the medium term, we're going to take a percentage of the fees that companies pay when they want to be certified. And actually, I want to correct myself. Companies pay to certify their products. They don't. We don't. The certification is not going to certify companies as a whole, because companies have multiple products, some of which might be compliant, some of others might not be. And so the certification is aimed at products.
I know the industry well. I've been around for almost 20 years, and I know that we love conspiracy theories. So, you are the CEO and founder of Anonymized, and also the founder of the CPCA. Someone might say, oh, but is this to push forward an ID-less agenda? And by the way, we will talk about ID-less and anonymize in a different episode.
Look, I, I think it's very clear. I stuck my neck out, and there are going to be all sorts of rumors, particularly if this certification comes out as being perceived as strict or anti-business. I don't necessarily think so. I think the ICO is very reasonable, but there's a law. So either we change the law, or we can't pretend it doesn't exist. So is there a conflict of interest between my role as anonymized CEO and the founder of the CPCA? Um, the ICO doesn't think so, and I don't think so, and there's a number of reasons. First, as I said, I'm not writing the rules. There's an independent team of experts who are really drafting them. I am providing technical expertise, but ultimately, it's the ICO opinion that matters. They need to approve this, and they'll do it on the base of the law and their interpretation of the law. Nothing else. There's anyone who thinks like there's an agenda or I'm pushing ideas, that idea is for the bird. The ICO has an overarching view on compliance. We have no power to influence how they how they see the law and how they see compliance. Absolutely, we're doing the nitty gritty work of applying broad legislation to a specific context, and that's done by independent experts. And secondly, the certification scheme will be monitored by another independent company, ABC UK, over which we have absolutely no control. I have no control. Really, my role is I step forward and I initiated a process which has taken a life of its own, luckily. And actually, as soon as this is mature enough, I'll have to step out. I want to step out. I think if I step out too early, it probably collapse. But as soon as it's solid, obviously I need to step out before my company gets certified. I need to be out of the picture, and that's the plan. So just take this as essentially a bunch of legal nerds doing pretty tedious work to understand how certain requirements apply in a very technical industry. But there's no negotiation, no agenda other than applying or clarifying what those requirements mean in practice.
Will Anonymized be certified then?
We will certainly apply for certification. Whether we get it or not depends on the work of the legal experts. I'm confident. We've taken a very strict view on many privacy requirements. I think we comply, but I don't know until I apply. But actually, conversely, if we realize that maybe our views on privacy are a little bit too strict and the law allows us to have a little bit more flexibility, well, as a business we might decide to take advantage of that. So I don't think it's a known conclusion. I think we need to go through the process, understand what the requirements are, and then everyone will be playing by the same rules. That's the point. From Google down to us and tiny startups like Anonymized, everyone will have the same privacy requirements.
Thank you, Mattia. I think this has been a great way to clarify CPCA and the future of privacy in advertising. I think it's a welcome innovation that will help a lot of companies and make their life a lot easier. Thank you.